afternoon and welcome to the Olympia World Arena on the southern edge of Innsbruck city centre in the Austrian region of Tyrol. Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here to talk you through today's bouldering semi-final. We've got 20 women competing on that 15-metre wide bouldering wall. 4 boulders who will have 5 minutes each to attempt each one, and we're looking for 6 finalists to progress to the final this evening at 7 p.m. right here in the same arena. We had qualifiers earlier on in the week, all day on Wednesday, 112 entrants in total, narrowed down to 20 for the semi-final. We want to narrow it down to a further 6 for the final. Normally at the IFSC we have combined semi-finals, men and women climbing at the same time. Here at the World Championships in Innsbruck, it's just the women. Tatiana Semelinkina will be the first climber onto the wall. Climbers on 5-minute rotations, and there we can see the warm-up area behind the wall. We're not normally granted this kind of access to the backstage area. There's Miho Nanaka, recently crowned the World Cup overall champion for 2018. She'll take some beating here. Interestingly, Miho's been suffering with a shoulder injury after the qualification round as well. She's been getting quite a lot of treatment on that throughout the week. Hopefully she's managed to clear that up as much as possible going into this semi-final. I think after a fantastic boulder season, she's got the World Championships podiums in her sights for sure. Like I said, really interesting to see the isolation zone and the warm-up zone. Always interesting to see everybody's routines back there. To be fair, it looks like a pretty good standard warm-up wall by all comparisons to other events. Actually, it's got more than one panel on it, and it's more than 2 meters high. A lot of different holds, not too many volumes, but a perfect little warm-up facility. There's Jessica Pilz, recently crowned lead world champion. If you're thinking that that chap in the background, the Swiss team coach Kevin, doesn't look like a female boulderer, you would be right. Of course, this is the isolation zone, so coaches can go in there with their athletes and normally do. That was Jessie Pilz, crowned here in the Olympia World. Hopefully the adrenaline has just about left her system and she's ready to now take on the bouldering. She's looked very good in both disciplines this year. Lead season couldn't have gone much better, but more than capable of a big result in the bouldering as well. And here's a quick look at our wall, 4.5 metres high, 18 metres wide. 4 boulders here, plenty of space. Route setters have had a lot of space to play for. You can have a look at some of the angles. -3 degrees, just about a slab, only just, and then the very steepest section of the wall is down on the bottom left, 35 degrees overhanging, 2.15 metres, the maximum overhang.
I think traditionally we would have seen slightly steeper walls in competitions in the past. I think the route setters have found it challenging here. It's a good facility, it's definitely wide enough, it's definitely high enough. Lack of overhang potentially is going to be really interesting when it comes to the style of the climbs. Got a lot of slab on the right hand side, like I said, not too steep on the left. It's going to be really interesting to see what the route setters have crafted for us this afternoon.
These will be our top 10 starters. Tatiana Semelinkina, the first climber out, former World Cup podiumist, took the bronze medal in Bulgaria back in 2007. And there we can see very powerful last 5 climbers. Katja Kadic, Stasha Gale, Miho Nanaka, Janja Garmret and Akio Noguchi could certainly be 5 of our 6 finalists. Margot Hayes, the 6th to last climber out. Very interested to see how she gets on. Thought of primarily as a lead climber. They've gone much better this week in the bouldering here.
It's our first look at the competition wall. The lights have come up. Women are going to start on the far right hand side on the 3-degree slab, working their way down to the left. Really interesting boulder qualifications earlier on in the week. A very, very hard round of boulders. Route setters felt like they overcooked it a bit, but at the same time, they've got a really good indication as to the level. And that's going to help them coming into this afternoon. They know exactly what's up in front of them, and they know the level of these athletes. Let's hope they got it right, and the next couple of hours or so will definitely show us that.
So Tatiana's out. The climbers are on a 5-minute rotation, so she'll have 5 minutes to attempt this boulder. Regardless of if and when she gets it done, that 5 minutes will elapse before we see Alana Yip, who will be our second climber onto the wall. After Alana's finished her 5 minutes, Tatiana goes on to boulder 2, and our third climber comes out to boulder 1, catches Alvine, and eventually we end up with a full wall, and that's what we have for most of the semi-final. Climbers on all 4 boulders. They only get 5 minutes rest in between their 5-minute attempts, So if you can get a boulder done quickly, those couple of minutes of extra rest come in very handy. And this is our first chance to have a look at the slab. And Mike, it is a slab, but when we were down on the mats earlier, we actually had to walk around the side of the wall just to double check it was. It's only 3 degrees off vertical.
Yeah, 3 degrees off vertical, and the first women's route is more of the new school style, sort of whatever you want to describe it as, parkour, pogo, bit of a jump across, up into the right-hand side, and then latching the underside of that blue zone. Where the zone hold is. The zone hold is actually yellow hold, not the volume itself, but a nice big jump across. In theory, you can sort of just about bridge or stem between it with your legs, but you get pretty pinned in that situation. So what we're seeing here with Tatiana, the jump across, is the method, and this is a great start for the route setters because attempts are going to be coming thick and fast, and that's going to start creating our separation for those finals groups. That was a great attempt there.
Yeah, of course, the route setting team want to put on a show. They want to give the climbers something they enjoy climbing and the crowd something they enjoy watching. But perhaps the most important role of the semi-final is to select 6 climbers for the final. So we don't want multiple ties. And when climbers are using up lots of attempts, as Tatiana is on this first slab, it is a method of separating the climbers and determining who perform better. So, as you say, the route setters will be reasonably pleased with the first couple of minutes. She's had multiple attempts, but looks like she's getting closer and closer. And as Mike said, the method is to get the bottom right-hand side of the blue volume. Interestingly enough, the route setters don't seem to feel that latching that yellow hole with the left hand is especially crucial.
Yeah, not especially crucial if you can hit the balance point as your right leg lands, but I think we will see a number of people naturally using that yellow hole. So it's a classic opposition to the right-hand side. Naturally you want to grab it, and I think it's a pretty bad hole, but it's good enough in that position with the foot. And these sort of jumps are just classic because you just get better and better at them as your time elapses, and it's only really the very finest athletes who can kind of get the timing of these moves perfect for the first time. I'm thinking Janja Garnbret in Munich, just the final World Cup. I think it was Boulder #1, there was a nice jump into an undercut with the left hand, very similar to this move but on the opposite side, and you could just see as the athletes' quality went through the round, the better and better they were at these jumps, and this is the classic move that everyone's training now. Jumping across a set of volumes on a slab is a sort of textbook 101 training stuff these days.
Climbers, of course, coming out in reverse order. Tatiana, as you called it, getting closer and closer, coming out in reverse order from how they qualified. So in the qualifying round, which took place on Wednesday, Tatiana qualified in 20th place. We had 2 qualifying groups, so we took the top 10 from both groups. And Tatiana in 20th place means that she climbs first in the semi-final.
At the moment she's just struggling to kind of kill the momentum a little bit on the underside of that volume. You can see her firing to that left hand. At the moment she seems to be really concentrating on the yellow zone hold rather than the position on the right hand. Just kind of try and slow it down a little bit.
So 4 boulders for the climbers to attempt. And if you haven't watched bouldering before, the most important measurement of the climber's performance is how many of the 4 boulders they top. Then comes down to how many of the zone holds they get. Each boulder has a zone hold midway up it, which is very clearly marked. You can see there with the red sign. If we need to separate them further, it comes down to how many tops their attempts took. If it's still tied, then it comes down to how many attempts the zones took them. So tops, followed by zones, followed by attempts to top, followed by attempts to zone. 4 methods of separating the climbers, and Tatiana burned through an awful lot of attempts.
What's really tricky about these moves is you've effectively got 4 things to do at once, and you've got to decide which one to concentrate on the most. Getting closer, you've got 2 foot moves to begin with, then the jump, land the right foot and concentrate on the right hand and the left hand. It's really hard to know where to focus with your eyes, and it's always, you've got to choose your point. Do you focus on the yellow hold? Do you focus on the right hand undercut? Do you focus on the foot? Not meant to be for Tatiana on that one. She got close, really close once.
Let's have another look. This is one of her better attempts. Yeah, she was pretty close that time.
Just kind of momentum was taking her away from the wall at that stage rather than towards the hold, unfortunately. Too much power. Alana Yip's next.
Yeah, Alana Yip, Canada's sole representative in this semi-final. Previous World Cup finalist. In addition to this IFSC World Championships, which we run every 2 years, there are 6 or 7 IFSC World Cups per year in each of the climbing disciplines, and Alana previously been to a final in the World Cups. start, having a good look at the boulder. Remember, the climbers haven't seen the boulders until they emerge out on the mat, so you have to use a bit of time just sussing out how you're going to attempt those first moves. And instead of growing low down on the right of that volume, she tries to grab the top with both hands.
I think that's classic really, when you, on the first attempt, you really just want to gauge the distance, make sure you land the feet properly, and from that point start building on that experience and start figuring out what the next stage is to make that move work. Again, up with the right hand rather than the undercut on the right hand.
Yeah, I was about to say, it didn't look too far off from Alana. It looks like a definite possible method. I was saying earlier that the route setters think that zone hold might not be absolutely crucial. If you had the requisite balance, skill, precision, in theory you should be able to jump across, grab the underside of the volume with the right hand and then just kind of push your shoulder into the wall and stop dead.
Yeah, I think it's about killing that momentum is the key. I mean, you've got to use a lot of force to get across there. I think we might start seeing some athletes later sort of float it a bit more rather than try and power across.
Well, I'd like to see someone try it, because of course if you've then got to bring your left hand in front of your chest and rotate round so that the left hand is useful, you need to keep a bit of the momentum, and then you carry too much. If someone could just dab the feet and instantly stop and grab the underside of that blue volume, also an awful lot easier said than done, it could be an effective way of doing the move and killing the momentum.
I think you're right, Charlie, and I think you might see some of the athletes sort of cross-palming on the volume with the left hand just to try and kill it. But you see Alana get there. She might have taken a rather large chunk of skin off from the shins in that one, and that's what I was talking about, what to focus on. So you move the focus from the foot to the hands and just miss the foot. These run and jumps or just jumps across like that. It's always so easy to miss the foot and kind of shin yourself in the process. And when you do that, it's really hard to build up the kind of psyche, as it were, to have another go, because you're a bit nervous about taking your shins out. Once again, it was the right leg that slipped off and the left leg banged into that volume.
So yeah, 2 minutes left of her 5 for Alana. Definitely trying to do it with the left hand on the zone. Bear in mind, of course, that the route setters have been working on these boulders for multiple days. I'm told they finished work at 4 AM last night, perfecting them. So when they say, well, it can be done this way, it can be done that way, they've had days to think about it. These climbers walk out and they've only got 5 minutes to figure out and execute a method. Alana Yip now. She's definitely getting close. You can see, as you said, Mike, you've got so many things to concentrate on. You're still moving right and you're desperately trying to stop that, but simultaneously place that left hand accurately.
Even a simple thing as your shoe choice on a boulder like this, just as Alana tries to have a look at different methods very briefly there, even a shoe choice on this kind of jump can make a huge difference. Sometimes a much softer shoe can really help. Route setters a lot of times on these moves will actually test these in their trainers, so it's much more comfortable to land multiple times with the feet. I believe in theory the athletes could come out and try it in their trainers, but it definitely won't help them on the next move. So shoe choice is super critical.
50 seconds for Alana, and then Innsbruck local Katja Zalvine will be attempting Boulder 1. Tatiana Shemelin-Kina, who we already saw on Boulder 1, she'll go on to Boulder 2. She's currently backstage having a 5-minute rest. And Alana Yip, what's she thinking here? There's nothing really direct up from where she is. There's nothing you could possibly jump for or make a stab for above. And she decides against any further attempts. So no progress made on Boulder 1. You said earlier the route setters might be initially quite happy. I think they'd be relieved to see someone get this move done. You can see her looking up there, wondering if there's some method of getting out right higher up.
I think at that stage in the game she's probably had a good 10-15 goes at that jump. She's pretty much out of options, so why not try something else? It may be a bit out of the box, but you never know. In the end she really decided there wasn't anything there. But we do get our next athlete out and we get to see bolt number 2 for the first time.
Here is Katja Zalvine, Tyrolean born and bred, home city of Innsbruck. Been a vastly successful IFSC competitor. This is it for her after this World Championships. What a way to go out. Training hard, was absolutely delighted just to be selected for this World Championships.
See what she makes of this women's number one. Then we're really seeing the initial method across there. We've not seen the perfect hand method yet, potentially. Definitely not seen a successful attempt. Katazara then just making those initial investigations on the move. Tatiana on women's number two as well. Really does stick the first move. We can't see it at the moment. Just off screen. Starts again on the right. Really got to power it across there. And slips with the right foot. Potentially a painful little slip there. Got to build up the confidence again on the feet. I think landing that, sorry Charlie, just say landing that right foot, I think landing it as far out from the wall as possible creates more of a leaning slab, as it were. So it's kind of very nerve-wracking to do that because your wrist kind of coming off the nose of the volume and sort of taking a lot of skin off your foot, off your shin, excuse me. But at the same time, that gives you a really good position for the next move. There we see the Tatiana on the first move of W2. Interesting little palm down compression move up to the right hand and a nice little release up to the zone. This is looking good. This boulder was pegged as one of the easier of the four. Certainly not easy by any stretch of the imagination though. Nice there. Looked like she was looking for some opposition with the right toe. Superb power here. Nearly dabbed a sign there, the Innsbruck sign on the right. And on the left at the top for Tatiana. Let's see what the judges say about that tap of the sign. Hopefully it won't be a repeat of what we saw in the men's lead qualification. It's going to be interesting. Looks like she's got away with it. Let's have another look. Powered up to the zone really nicely, and then look at the right foot as she jumps to this next move. Looked like she was trying to find some sort of toe hook opposition, or it might have just sort of been an air flag. So much progression through the right leg there. There's the tap on the left foot. Up to the top, nicely done. What do you reckon, Charlie? I think there might be an appeal on that potentially.
It's going to be touch and go. In Innsbruck, we've already had a bit of an incident. Might be a PC way of putting it. We've already had a bit of an incident with an advertising sign in the men's lead qualifiers. It'd be nice not to see another one. But I agree, Mike. There's certainly something to be looked at there.
I would be surprised if someone doesn't run on and take that off, to be honest. Let's see.
Now Katja Zalvine with 1 minute 30 left on the clock.
Similar position for all of the athletes so far on this women's number one. Just jumping across and not finding the balance point.
.15 now. It looked a tricky move from down on the mat. It's looking even trickier now. We're seeing climbs attempted. I didn't think we'd see people getting the jump done because the move it's even harder, and now Katja Zalvine gets it done.
Exactly like you said, Charlie. Didn't use the left hand screw on. Controlled the swing with the left hand on the underside of the body. This is looking really nice now.
Yeah, that move there looked absolutely desperate from below. What she's got her right hand on is almost non-existent, and she just lost her balance a split second before she moved up.
With 35 seconds left, you're going to have to be really quick here, but that was awesome to see the first successful attempt on this jump across. Has this move dialed now?
Yeah, of course, the key to not immediately slapping your left hand up is you can keep your body that much closer to the wall. Your centre of gravity stays right over your feet instead of being pushed out. And Katja Zalvine with 15 seconds to go is close on that one.
Absolutely desperate section of dual texture screw-ons at the top. The right hand that she's on is a nubbin at best. It's a sort of a thumb and finger, first finger crimp. That's the move. Really nice stop of rotation there, palming out on the right hand side, double undercutting that bottom blue volume, and then the pain only continues at the top, unfortunately.
There you can see what I mean though, because she's hugging that volume so tight, her shoulders, her hips, everything's close into the wall, the centre of gravity is right over your feet, close to the wall. If you then had to jab your left hand to chest height, it just throws you off balance. Now here's Johanna Faber, carrying a little niggle in her elbow, I'm told, by the Austrian team physio. Nothing serious, but certainly not enough to stop her competing. Hopefully it doesn't hold her back in any way. And Alana Yip, the second climber to attempt Boulder 2. Tatiana topped it.
Yeah, quite a cool move on for W2 at the start. A hard stand-up move into the right-hand shoulder and the opposition with the left palm. Fantastic, that was perfect progression for a running jump there from Katazawa, and took a best part of 4 minutes plus just to figure out the perfect way of doing it, all the different options. Let's see what Johanna Farber makes of that. That's the method, straight into the double undercuts.
You can see that bit of taping on her left arm. I mentioned about her elbow. Made the final in Tai'an in China earlier this year. The second of 4 Austrian women in today's final. We've already seen Katazawa. I'm still got Jessie Pilt and Berit Schweiger to come. Johanna Farber. Let's have another look.
Good dismount that time.
Yeah. Again, not trying to grab the zone, just going straight for the underside of the blue volume. You can see her in the background.
Alana sticks the first move on W2, opting for the high left foot. That was nice. Saw Tatiana really firing out to the zone hold, the yellow zone hold there. First 2 boulders, the yellow holds are the first zones. Johanna on women's 1, starting to sort of slow down the jump a little bit. She had the right method, but was using a bit too much power, was firing backwards.
Alana Yip looks like she's just having a complete rethink here, back down on the mats. Of all 4, certainly at first glance, I had chatting to the route setting team led by Manu Hassler of Switzerland. This looks and sounds like the most straightforward of the boulders, but overall it's a very tough round. I think to come away from 1 top from this round would be pretty impressive.
Really nice trim creation on the right-hand side there. Not the yellow hold, but the red hold. The root setter sort of created a shoulder gaston, but with a tiny little extra front screw on, buried into it as well. Sometimes the root setters kind of create a new hold out of 2 existing holds, which is quite good sometimes, just so that the athlete's got something a bit new. A lot of these athletes would have climbed on many of these holds before, but sometimes you can kind of craft something a bit new out of some existing holds. Knowledge of the holds in this end of the game is so important. A lot of these athletes would have been at their training camps making sure they've got all of these sets of holds so they know how they feel, where the good bits are. This is the big move up left now. Alana opted for a really high foot. Just spotted a tiny bit of blood on that hold. We'll see.
And Johanna Farber, you can see there the frustration. Knew she was close that time. It's one of those boulders where if you gave all these competitors endless time, you gave them the rest of the day, they'd all get it done. They're probably just got to get it done in 5 minutes. If you're just joining us on this Friday afternoon, Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here live from the Olympia World Arena to the south of Innsbruck women's bouldering semi-final. 20 women gunning for 6 spots in tonight's final. Will begin at 7 p.m. here. We're watching Alana Yip of Canada lands in the zone.
Doubles to it that time rather than just trying to stick it with the one hand. Jumps out now. This is the big move. So Tatiana doing out and left. Goes for the double again. That was really nice. Alana, great timing.
This last move, no pushover, but she looks completely solid on it. Has to match both hands. And the judges will award her a top. Johanna Farber has just had another go on number 1, but she's not going to find a way. Quick question on social media, hashtag IFSCWCH if you want to get in touch. At IFSC Climbing, are the climbers allowed to touch the holds, the ones after the start holds when they're on the mat? No, they're not. You are considered to have had an attempt if you touch with your hands or your feet holds that aren't the officially marked start holds.
Yeah, an attempt is also added if you use any tick marks. If you put a line of chalk to try and help you see where the holds are, the tactic used throughout climbing. That adds an attempt as well, so there's no tick marks allowed whatsoever, unless they are added purposely by the route setters. You see that a lot on the routes.
New rule as well for 2018 in the bouldering. when you start the boulder, you can see at the start of each boulder there's 4 bits of yellow tape to denote where your 4 limbs have to go. And you have to control the starting handholds. Previously, until this season, you just had to touch all the handholds at the same time, but now you've actually got to control the handholds to prove control, and then you can get on with the boulder. This is Manon Illy of France now. Tatiana Shemelin-Keener is out onto boulder 3. Katja Zauerwein, who so far has made the best dent we've seen on boulder 1, is now climbing on number 2, which has been topped by both of the first 2 climbers. And this is Manon Illy, closest to the camera, right-hand side of the wall on boulder 1. We're going right to left today.
Yeah, from slabs into the steep. Athletes currently standing on the mat. Shortly we'll be able to see a bit of action from there. Tatiana on women's free. Women's free, probably the hardest of the tour. Desperate slopers. Different method through this first section as well. You can either jump up to the left hand and then stick that and then move into a right toe hook, or go for the flip and the compression, as Tatiana's trying there as well.
Manon Illy wasn't far off on that jump on women's 1, by the way. We've got a good view across the stage from our contribution, so I'll keep an eye on her as we focus on Tatiana and now Katja Zauerwein on number 2.
Let's go.
Really, if it's all possible, need to get a bit more on top of that left hand.
Yeah, it's another timing move. It's not a jump, but it does have a really big timing element to it. 2 things to do at the same time. Never easy to do 2 things at once.
Again, I think if you could just get a tiny bit higher and just push down slightly on that left hand, you might feel a little more solid.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sort of stand-up move because your right foot is so high, there's a little jib on the volume. As you stand up, natural body movement is backwards rather than up. With the knee so high like that and your knee so bent, you've got to really work hard to pull into the wall at the same time as going up. Just give a better view as to what they're up against there. As Manon Illy sticks the jump, the second athlete to successfully get across the bottom and see what she makes in this next section.
Creep up with the right hand. It is an awful hold that. It's a dual texture hold. Only the absolute nubbin, the point of it, has got any friction. You can see the whiter bit of that tiny blue hole. That's where the friction is. The rest of it's essentially useless. It's slippery, no friction at all.
See how much weight she was putting through the legs. They're quite really shaking in the right foot, and that's really hard to stand on those footholds if your legs have got any movement in them whatsoever.
So all 3 climbers down on the mats. Katja Zauerwein got a minute to find a top on boulder 2. Tatiana Shemelin-Keener got it done 3rd go. Alana Yip got it done 6th go. Manon will be frustrated because he's already got the jump one. She didn't stick it that time either. We cut to Katja Zauerwein. We're taking our pictures from Austrian TV, as we have done for much of the week here in the Olympia world. So we may see a little more of the Austrian athletes and some of the other climbers, such as their prerogative as a host broadcaster. And now she finds a way to pop up, fires out to the zone.
Yeah, interestingly, we've seen a couple of different methods on that. Sorry, Charlie. And she looks like she's trying to press down with the right hand. Second red holds.
I was about to say, yeah, I don't think Katja's going to have another go. 25 seconds left, decided against it. Ditto Manon Illy, and there you can see on the left-hand side of that scoring system is the number of tops, then the number of zones, then the number of tops, attempts to top, and then attempts to zone. Progress on the right is how many of the 4 boulders they've already attempted. Alana Yip now back onto the mat, and our 3rd Austrian climber, the recently crowned lead world champion Jessica Pilz. She begins her attempt on number 1. Johanna Fairber is climbing again. She's on number 2. Alana Yip is climbing again. She's on number 3.
Jessica Pilz in a lot of the interviews always sort of admits she's not a huge fan of the dynos and the jumps. She mainly amazing route climber, taking away the World Championship early in the week. Let's see how she gets on this though. She has been training it quite a lot. I'd say this is sort of textbook training material, this sort of jump. Looks like she's going to go opt for the static option to begin with. Just creeping across the volumes. She does try to go statically, but was kind of still standing towards the middle of that left-hand volume. Let's see what she tries on her next attempt. Let's go for the jump that time.
Remember, we talked about it a second ago, you're not allowed to touch those holds. Your first instinct is to just go and grab onto them and see what you can figure out about them. But she wouldn't register an attempt if she was to touch holds over the start holds. Very burly number 3. See, just a series of big, committing, powerful moves. You've got to move quickly and then stop yourself quickly, and it requires so much compression, body tension. It's just a pretty tough boulder. I think just clever setting for the setters to create something like this on what is not a especially steep wall.
Yeah, and I think if you can find a top on this boulder, it's really early to say, but I would suggest that if you find a top on boulder number 3, there's a good chance you'll be in the finals. Such as its difficulty, it's really, really hard that one. We thought it was hard when we looked at it, but it says confirmed. The semi-final round, usually the hardest round of all, through qualification and the finals. This is where you've got to get that separation 20 down to 6.
Jessie Piltner and Johanna Ferber, her compatriot, immediately to the left, and Jessie also not aiming for the zone, just trying to grab the bottom of that blue volume with both hands. Lana Yip is trying again on number 3. Very, very tough set, as I mentioned. I think certainly we could see a climb atop all 4 boulders, but I think you might get in with a couple of tops. You can let a zone or 2 elsewhere as well. That cheer, by the way, was for Hannah Ferber. She is over to the left. Here she is, up to the zone on number 2. Got this coordination move, chooses to go up with just the left hand, then slaps the right hand. She's really having to work hard to hold on to that position. And with that right leg curling backwards, it's such a physical position to try and hang on to.
This is exactly what we saw from Tatiana, first climber out on this boulder. With the right sort of leg, just as she fires up for the red volume off of the yellow zone hold, right leg really interestingly just sort of peels into the air and just stops the momentum. You can see Jessie peels in the background, has made the jump, falls off the next section. A really interesting body movement on women's number 2 there, high up.
Yeah, so that was how Jessie did it. I said earlier, not grabbing the zone is theoretically the easier way to do it. It certainly seems that that's how people have found the most success. So this was Jessie then trying to creep up with the right hand for that horrific little nubbin. Yeah, Hannah Ferber's pretty close on number 2. I'll keep you updated as we continue watching the replay of Jessie. Hannah Ferber's in the same position she was in earlier, in that almost iron cross. She couldn't quite find a way. And Jessie Piltner actually pulled back on with 12 seconds to go. No more tops in that round.
Yeah, he's left frustrated after boulder number 1. That's definitely the story of boulder number 1 so far. This is a replay for the second time.
Yeah, this was Johanna Ferber earlier on. The second very close attempt on number 2. And almost a carbon copy with the sign.
Over that sign.
Yeah, no, as you said, Mike, we need to... That'd be a good idea for someone to nip on the mats and get rid of that Innsbruck sign, to be honest. We've already had incidents this World Championship with people touching advertising signs. Here's Sol Sa of South Korea. Tatiana Shemelinkina is about to finish her semi-final. She's got 5 minutes left. She's on Boulder 4. Sol Sa of South Korea, well short on the jump that time. Manon Ili climbing again, catches Alvine. She's got underway on number 3.
The only one with some tops so far.
Und sie ist momentan 7. Für sie geht es jetzt wirklich die Kombinationsfinalteilnahme am Softball. Gamba, Gamba, alle, alle!
So Sol Sa with 3:15 left. Previous World Cup finalist. More than capable of making the final here. A decent day in the qualifiers.
Interestingly, Charlie, I think women's number 1s could start to become more obvious as more chalk builds up on that blue volume. You're starting to see a big build up of chalk on the underside, not so much around the zone hold. Obviously the brushes do come in, you can't help there being a build up of chalk over the round. I think it starts to become slightly more obvious as to what the method might be, especially if people start doing that 1-2 catch underneath and palming on the grey wall on the right hand side. I think you start to see a big build up of chalk there. You can sort of read the chalk almost as to what the sequence might be.
So there we can see the 4 climbers have currently got on the wall. Sol Sa, Manon Ili, catches Alvine, and Tatiana Shemelinkina. She's over on the left. It's a brutal number 4. We haven't seen much of it yet. As I said, we're going right to left, so it's 1 on the right, 4 on the left. And it's a pretty savage 4th boulder, very physical.
Yeah, the steepest section of the wall on the right hand side. Deceivingly powerful boulder on the left hand side, excuse me. Deceivingly powerful boulder. There's a big section of blue volumes. And a really tricky stand-up move to finish. And on there on W2, not quite found the right method just yet.
Tatiana slapping up on number 4 as well. That huge hold she's going for, the first hold after the start holds. From below looks a pretty good hold, but there's just nowhere it's quite positive enough to get much out of it. Manon Ili over on number 2 is up to the zone. Ili climber currently off the mats. And as with Johanna Faber, gets herself in that iron cross position and then can't keep her feet on, can't stay there.
Feel a bit sorry for Tatiana. She's got huge amounts of tape on the fingertips. It's definitely not going to help you. A bit of a blood sport for her at this stage. Manon nearly sticks that move one more time. This is where she fell, just going up to the red volume on the left-hand side a second ago. Big, powerful move and compresses. Can't stop the rotation though. Doesn't get quite enough on the right-hand side to kill that swing.
This is again a replay. Manon Ili's currently on the mats. This was a replay of her going up to the zone. 45 seconds left for all these climbers. Catches Alvine, so far not made much of a dent on number 3. And, with 30 seconds to go, catches actually down the front of the wall, discussing something with the judges. A bit strange, she went off with about 40 seconds to go and immediately said something to the judges.
Yeah, I do wonder if she's got a tweak or something there. She might not necessarily worth continuing. It cheesed off either way, I think, unfortunately for her.
So we're not going to see any more tops, and Tatiana Shemelinkina will finish with 1 top from the round. Given the difficulty of the boulders, it's not too bad a score. Fanny Gibert now, the 8th climber out. She was 3rd in the overall standings for the Boulder World Cups in 2018, and she gets her World Championship semi-final underway. Jessie Piltz climbing again. She's on number 2. Johanna Faber's on number 3, and Alana Yip is over on the far left of the boulder wall on number 4. 4. There she is, Alana, closest to our camera. So it's 2 Austrians, Canadian and a French climber.
Representing France, the national champion, Fanny
Gibert gets a big introduction from the venue MC, the reigning French national champion. Picked up a shiner, you can see just under her right eye there. Took a pretty spectacular fall in the qualifying round. I have to say, it looked an awful lot worse when I last saw her on Friday. It recovered pretty quickly. You can still see it's a mark under the right eye and then also on her right cheek. She just clobbered one of the holes as she fell off in the qualifying round.
One thing I have to say about all of these athletes, they really do put their bodies on the line. You always see, every time you see a professional climbing, look at their shins, they're just absolutely wrecked.
Interestingly, she's trying to pop up to the zone with the left hand, not trying to stop herself with both hands underneath the blue volume.
It's going to be interesting with Fanny Gibert coming out quite early on in this semi-final round. Multiple finalists this year. You would have expected her to be coming out a little bit later on, so this is going to give us an early indicator as to the difficulty of these boulders, I think, if Fanny Gibert is on her usual form.
Yeah, worst finish this year of 8th for Fanny Gibert. So she's been having a brilliant season, and as I say, made the overall podium as Alana Yip sticks the move up to that big blue volume. It's not very positive. No matter what position you try and hold it in, it's trying to spit you off the wall. Got up to the zone, correct. She doesn't want to have to do that first move again, so she wants to try and figure out how to move from here without going back down to the mats. And this looks hopeful from Alana Yip. Can she get her left hand free? She can. She's got the zone. And Alana Yip now heading up to the penultimate hold. It's that big blue one immediately to the right of the top hold. Goes up with the right hand and she's just underneath it. There's a tiny little screw-on jib on top of that hold so that you can pinch at the hold. Looked like she was trying to push her palm onto the underside of it.
That was a full body workout there for Alana. Every technique under the sun went into that. She used her knees, she used her chin, she used absolutely everything to get up there. Drop knees on the right hand side. So many different things going on as Fanny Gibert sticks the method out to the right. That was nice.
This is actually a replay of Fanny Gibert. She's actually back on the mats. I'm sorry to kill the suspense, but this can't have been a successful ascent of the boulder, but she's certainly got the jump done.
It has been a successful attempt on the left hand side. Oh, Jessie Pills finds a top on women's number 2. I think that boulder is going to see a lot of action this afternoon.
Yeah, that's the third top of it, and Jessie, the 6th climber to attempt it. So
this is the replay of Jessie then. Does the double catch onto the zone hold.
I think you're going to need to get this boulder done if you want to make it into the finals, or pull a rabbit out of the hat somewhere else, because half the climbers who've attempted this boulder so far have managed to top it, including that lady there, Jessie Pilz, in the arena where she was crowned just under a week ago.
Yeah,
She's back again.
One of the smoothest descents there. And Fanny Gibert on the right-hand side finds the first top of women's number 1.
Yeah, we just heard a big roar from the crowd. That's what it was. Fanny Gibert's found a top. So let's have a look. Hopefully we can see the whole attempt. So again, that jump, if you get it right, it doesn't look too difficult. You don't quite find the method or the balance point, it looks virtually impossible. So this is a very tricky move up with the right hand when we lost Fanny last time, but then this again is another tough move. You've got to slap out with the left hand, and interestingly, the route tester says you've got to lose a bit of the tension here. You can't be too tight. Just got to let yourself move loosely out and left, and then when you feel like you're close enough, jump out to the top hold.
That's all about trusting the feet, and on the left-hand side of the moment, there's action coming everywhere as we watch the replay. Alana Yip falls off the finish hold. I'm sure we'll get to see that one again. Hard to know where to look here at the moment, Charlie.
Yeah, 15 seconds left of the rotation. We're not going to see another top, but this was Alana Yip coming incredibly close on number 4. They're so burly, these moves. That hole's just spitting you off no matter how you get hold of it. Pretty much every bit of the body engaged there. Arms, core, legs.
Nice knee swap.
Yeah, so this time, how did she do it? Perfect timing. She actually missed the jib on the way up and then didn't use it, thought about using it. And she will be kicking herself.
Yeah, a slight lack of commitment to the finish hold. You can see the jib there on top. I think that's actually blocking the bolt hole. I'm not sure if that's going to give you huge amounts of luck trying to hold that later on. We're going to see what athlete's preference is on that. And just the last move, you have to really fire and commit to that top move, and she was just a little bit low.
Here is Hannah Slaney, crowned youth world champion in the bouldering in Moscow a month ago, over in Russia. She is, or used to be thought of more as a lead climber. When I put that to her in Moscow, she was indignant. She is equally a boulderer, as proved by winning the Youth World Championships a month ago.
She has been working on the jumps a fair bit throughout the year. She's admitted in the past that's not her favoured style. Incredibly strong in the arms. When it comes to locking off, she's up there with the best. British bouldering champion as well from 2018.
You would imagine that the further left she goes on this wall, the more Hannah's going to enjoy these boulders.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So Hannah Slaney, Solsa, Manon Ely and Katja Zauwein currently on the wall. Katja just the one zone for her. That was on boulder number 1. This is Solsa on number 2.
Big swing there. We've seen a successful attempt at that, actually going to that zone hole with both hands. It's not really big enough for a double catch, but it seems to hit it with the left and just clamp down with the right hand on top of the left hand. Actually a pretty painful move.
Right now, all 4 climbers back on the mats. Manon Ely was briefly off the ground on number 3, but he's back down. And here's Katja Zauwein looking to finish her semi-final with a top, with 1 top and 2 zones if she can find it. Alana Yip came about as close as you can get to doing it without quite bringing it home.
So we've seen all of the boulders climb now, and if Alana's was really close to her attempt on the boulder number 4, I think we're going to start to see a number of tops coming. All the boulders have been tried though, and I think it's really interesting to look and see what they got in front of them. I think we're going to start to see tops coming thick and fast here. I think boulder number 3 is still going to be the standout boulder whether you make the finals or not.
Yeah, I agree. Nobody's even got a zone on that so far. 1 and 2 topped. Nobody even got a zone on number 3. And then Alana Yip got a zone on number 4 and came incredibly close to a top. Several different ways of doing this first move at the start of women's 3. Manon Ely going for the compression coordination method. This is Solsa live on number 2. Is she going to go both hands at the same time? I think that's what she's lining up for.
You can see her looking left and right, left and right. Nice, the double catch does really well. Misses the sign on the left crucially as well. Nice little top from Solsa.
Solsa gets the job done on number 2. You are going to need to top that one, I think, if you want to make the finals. As I say, unless you can find something on one of the harder boulders.
This was nice, a really nice sort of transition up to the left and just catches the right hand. You could see her really calculating that before she did it. Seen others not go up to the right hand initially, but it does create a big swing. That was really nicely done there from Solsa. I think we'll start to see that method coming more and more.
Hannah Slaney just had a really good go at number 1. She went out towards the top hold. Wasn't that close to latching it, but she's 1 move away now from topping the boulder, and she's got 30 seconds left on the clock. Katja Zauwein and Manon Ely as yet. No progress made on 4 and 3 respectively.
Hannah just has a quick look around at the clock. She's really short time here. She's got to pull a rabbit out of the hat with 19 seconds left.
So that is that for Katja Zauwein and Manon Ely.
It's actually a replay of a failed attempt. So close to the top here.
Yeah, she wasn't far off because it's a good hold you're going for. So even if you don't get it perfectly, that top yellow hold, you've got a good chance of hanging on to it. And she got her right fingertips to it, but not quite enough. So now the reigning Boulder World Champion from Paris in 2016, Petra Klingler, joins us on the stage. Johanna Ferber, Jessie Pilz and Fanny Gibert back out. Petra is the 10th climber out of 20. So we'll be into the second half of the starters after her.
Women's semi-final really progressing nicely, I think.
Yeah, I'd say Petra increasingly an all-rounder. The Olympics looming now in Tokyo in 2 years' time. We're seeing that more and more from climbers, but even before the Olympic announcement, Petra did multiple disciplines, even competes in ice climbing. There goes Jessie. Austrian crowd, as one might expect, getting right behind her. And although she's back on the mat, she's at least found a way of achieving a stable position from the start.
I think that's the first time we've really seen that first move be completed successfully. Desperate women's free. Petra got the method down now on the women's number 1. Minute and a half into her climb. Finds the right foot sequence, struggling initially. Walk up the right-hand side of this volume, opting for the left foot on that screw, and that could be a bit of a problem for her in a second. She's going to have to swap feet on it, or can she just reach out? Got to be careful with the end of the wall there, the right foot. There's the right foot. She seems to be aware that where the edge of the wall is. Got to be really careful. Judges will be watching that very carefully. She does still have a left foot on that screw on, though. She does need the right foot on there. I think she would have learned a lot from that attempt.
Yeah, all 4 climbers actually down on the mats again right now. The round panning out pretty much as we thought it might, looking pretty tough. Boulder 2 seeing the most traffic. Boulder 3 and 4 looking incredibly physical. Mike, you said it when we were down on the mats, and it seems to be coming true that number 3 is looking the toughest of the lot. Welcome to Innsbruck. For those of you just tuning in, Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here, live from the Olympia World Women's Semi-Final. If you're a regular IFSC viewer, wondering where the men's semi-final is, that'll be taking place tomorrow. We're splitting the semi-finals here for the World Championship, so it's just the women today. This time tomorrow, we've got the men's. Petra Klingler now, this is live. She is currently on the wall, trying to free up her left hand. And although I saw that with my own eyes, I'm still not quite sure how she stayed on the wall. Left hand, the right hand popped off. You'd have thought any sudden movement like that would be fatal. Far from it. Top from Petra Klingler. So Boulder number 1, been topped twice now by Petra and the woman that was just to her left, Fanny Gibert.
Tension on this last move. You cut it with a knife here in the arena. See, she's just lining it up, waiting, and then pounces to the finish hold. And that's how much it means to you when you've got that type of move. Heart in your mouth moment here as she fires off, tries not to slip off the really terrible left foothold. When you're putting so much power through your feet, it's so easy to slip on that type of hold. See it, you can't even see the foothold underneath her, it's so small.
Great angles there, good to see multiple angles. As soon as she got that big yellow hold, she knew it was in the bag. It's such a big hold. So Johanna Ferber, Jessie Pilz and Fanny Gibert now on the stage. It's just been a beep, audible beep in the arena that signifies 1 minute to go.
Interestingly, Fanny Gibert struggling on women's 2 at the moment. We've seen multiple tops on that one. And I think now with tops coming on women's 1 and 2 that she's going to need this one. She's just trying to go up with the one hand at the moment. I think Fanny, she needs to, like we've seen, potentially double up to it.
Johanna Ferber's battling away on number 4 valiantly, but with 20 seconds to go, she decides against another attempt. 15 seconds to go for Jessie, and Fanny Gibert, pretty sure, is not going to get number 2 done. Now, she got number 1 done, but that puts her under a lot of pressure, Fanny Gibert. That's the boulder we think you'll need to do to make the final. You'd have to say, the way she's been going this season, it would be a surprise result if she wasn't to make the final, Fanny Gibert, but she has not got number 2 done. And very early on, that is how it stands. tops, number of tops are in the green triangle, then zones in the yellow square, then attempts to top and attempts to zone, and progress is which of the 4 boulders the climbers have already attempted. Final Austrian we're going to see in action today, Berit Feiger. Hannah Slaney's climbing again, Sol Sa's climbing again, and so is Manon Ely. Manon over on number 4. Berit, really take your time before this first attempt. And that had the look of an attempt where you're just figuring out how the move feels.
Hannah Slaney on women's number 2. Really good attempt for her on women's number 1. She goes quite slowly up to the zone hold there. She needs to hit that with a bit more power. Solsar opting for the double catch on women's 3 at the moment. A real wrestling match that is women's number 4. So close for Alana Yip earlier on in the round to her top there. Fumbled the finish hold.
Three minutes 15 left for these climbers. We've got from left to right, closest to the camera there, Manon Ely, Sol Sa, Hannah Slaney and Berit Feiger, the 4th and final Austrian to start the semi-finalists. He's just got the jump done on number 1. This is a replay of Berit. That's how she did the jump. We're about 10-15 seconds behind what's actually happening. And that cheer from the crowd might somewhat spoil the suspense of this replay we're watching. Here's how she got it done.
Nicely done. She actually climbed that really smoothly all the way across, possibly the smoothest descent we've seen so far. There's that great angle again. Not quite the same delay as Petra Klinger on that last move, just lined it up, went with a lot of confidence. She's going really well here this week so far. Yeah, it's the 3rd ascent of that boulder, and I think she looked the most solid on that final move. It's another good close-up of it.
That was never in doubt. That right hand landed. It was like a vice closing around that hold.
It's great starting seeing a number of tops here. It's one of those boulders that can go either way. I think it's just going to stop everybody on the first move, or we're going to start seeing tops coming thick and fast on it.
I'll be very impressed if anybody can get that one done first time. So Hannah Slaney back on the ground. This boulder 2 is a boulder you think might suit her a little more than number 1 did. She was pretty close on number 1.
It's a really interesting little move after the first move, actually. It's sort of a bit of a jump, actually. It doesn't look like it initially, but it does seem to be a dynamic move up and left. And we saw Fanny Gibert struggle on it because she was trying to go with just the one hand, land it one-handed, the one-hander lander, as it's known. Does seem to be the double that's required, though. We'll see later on. Some of the stronger athletes might be able to stick it with the one arm.
Here goes Sol Sa. She kind of drifted away from the business end of IFSC World Cups for a while, but firmly back there now and looking super strong and popping up towards the zone. It's very, very tough, that 3rd boulder. Remember, of course, climbers only have 5 minutes rest, so you can't just bury yourself on boulder number 3. Because if you take a look over to the left, you'll see there's more to come on boulder number 4. So it's tactics not just on the boulder you're on, but for the whole round that are crucial here.
Sol Sa's definitely looking the best on that boulder. This is the route setter's method. Up with the left hand, off of the starting blue hold, toe hook underneath the starting hold on the red fiberglass volume there.
And Mike, no one yet has latched the zone. That was a little round of applause there, ripple of applause, because Hannah Slaney is close and she's got 12 seconds. That should be enough time. She needs to get the right hand to land. Okay, now time is crucial. Needs to stay away from that advertising sign. Time running out, and I think that's a top for Hannah Slaney. It will have been close, but I think the judges will have given that to her.
Yeah, I think that was just inside the beeps. It's actually the clock that counts, not the beep, so it's going to be really close. pretty sure she'll be given that though, and the crowd really enjoyed that. They love a tense finish. Same method as we saw a couple of attempts earlier on in the round. Has to watch the left foot once again. We really hope that doesn't cause a big story here. Hannah Slaney powers through the top section. Nice done, nice moves on that boulder.
So we can see Hannah Slaney by the skin of her teeth got that one done. Now, out onto the stage has just appeared Alex Puccio. Her sole appearance in the Boulder World Cups was a win in Vale in June. According to her social media, I haven't actually seen her since the qualifying round. According to her social media, she's not been feeling too well this week. But she is a climber of real caliber. We don't see her in as many IFSC competitions as we would like to. Really good to have her in the World Championships. I know a lot of neutrals would enjoy seeing her in the final.
Yeah, she's just trying to figure out the foot sequence here. Gets it that time. Well, that's the method that's worked successfully for other athletes, but let's see if it works for her. Petra sticks the move up on W2. So watch Jessie on the horrific all-body workout that is W4.
So, Fanny Gibert, she got number 1 done, didn't get number 2 done, and couldn't even find a zone on number 2, quite surprising. Could do with pulling something out of the bag here on number 3. Jessie Pilz is getting a big round of applause, you might have just heard.
Let's have a look at this top section then on women's number 4. We've seen only one athlete up this high so far. It's Alana Yip. She went double into the undercuts there and got a slight pinch on the jib above. Petra's also looking good high up on the wall as well. Let's concentrate on Jessie on the left-hand side. Slowly goes up. Now it's all about the finish hold from this point onwards. Got to make a really committing move up. This is a heinous position to be in. Jessie Pilz eyes it a number of times. We've got to commit now. So hard in the shoulders. Sticks it with one hand. Oh, what a moment. Jessie Pilz. How on earth she held on to that, I have no idea.
She becomes the first climber with 2 tops in the semi-final. She was leading in the provisional standings even before she got that top, but she now has 2 tops and 3 zones, and she's out on her own. Petra Klingler, I'm just seeing, has got a second top as well.
I think that might have meant quite a lot to Jessie. Yeah. Brilliant celebration on the top hold there. It was incredible how she held that with one hand.
She's still ahead of Petra, because she's got 2 tops and 3 zones, but interestingly enough, Petra the first climber to have topped both of the first 2 boulders, so now we can see a replay of it. We were so busy concentrating on Jessie that we missed this. This is a replay of Petra.
So much force through the left-hand side. That's the first climber we've seen actually stick that move with just the one-hander lander. Just no doubt towards the top. So much power. Vice-like grip on the right hand on that top hold. Petra's going well here. 2 tops in the bag for her, as Charlie said already.
Yeah, 2 tops in the first 2 boulders. 50 seconds left. Alex Puccio is still attempting number 1 and looking pretty handy on it. That was a replay of Petra. And this is Fanny Gibert was on number 3, and this is Alex Puccio live on number 1.
Puccio is calling it a day on women's number 1. Thinks she's going to be slightly disappointed with that. Got the jump done eventually. Do wonder, I mean, trying to compete if you're full of cold is going to be really tough. I think she would particularly enjoy the next couple of boulders though, so it's definitely not over if you don't do women's number 1, I don't think. On to the next rotation of 5 minutes then. Competition progressing nicely. Evgeny Kazbekova out next.
Yeah, there you can see it. Jessie Pilz leading in the provisional standings right now, having completed her rotation. Petra Klingler hot on her heels, now comes out, or will in 5 minutes, attempt number 3. Here's Sol Sa, closest to the camera, just a 1 top for her so far and 1 zone. She topped boulder number 2 on her 5th attempt. Hannah Slaney is back on the mat. She topped boulder number 2 on her 6th attempt, also got the zone on boulder 1. And Berit Schweiger also topped boulder 1. She's now on to boulder 2. So I think as we get close to halfway through this semi-final, the route setters will be reasonably happy with what they've seen. I think they'd be pleased to see a bit of progress on boulder 3. As yet, nobody even got a zone on that one, but otherwise a tough round. The boulders now being topped with a little more regularity.
Yeah, I think after the qualifying round, the route setters, like we said earlier, had a really good idea of what the level is currently of this women's field, and actually made some slight adjustments just before the round started, just tone these boulders down a little bit. I think that's starting to work. We're starting to see a number of tops. I think we might see at least 1 climber with 4 tops today.
Yeah, I think you could well be right. Let's just focus on Evgenia Kazbekova right now. This is her live on number 1. Topping it with a minimal of fuss. 3 minutes 20 left on the clock. Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I think we could see multiple tops, possibly 4 tops. It'd be good to see someone make a good dent on number 3.
Yeah, we've seen the first method go now, so I think that's a bit of an indicator. The first section was really the hardest in that women's number 3.
Berit Schweiger, Hannah Slaney and Sol Sa still out on the mat. This was Sol Sa's attempt earlier on. She wasn't a million miles away. Just missed the sweet spot there, Sol Sa. That's Berit Schweiger topping number 2. Let's have a look at how she did it.
That was nice. She did it with the jump out of the left hand. Second climber we've seen after Petra Klingler stick that with just the 1 hand and then go into the match. All the athletes have a check with the method here before they commit to it. Up left hand. Does she go just left hand? She does, with that really interesting right leg position, and then powers through the top bit. Another nice top for her.
So Berit off to a flyer. As with Petra Klingler, she's topped both of the first 2 boulders. You can't get much closer to the action than that. She was the highest ranked Austrian out of the qualifying round, and she's delivering on that performance here in the semi-finals. Sol Sa has just topped number 4. There's Alana Yip down the front of the stage, actually. Alana 5th as it stands, but unlikely to stay in the top 6, you would imagine, as this semi-final progresses. Mike, you're a professional route setter. This move here, harder for the tall or the small? Well, I was assuming she'd go to the blue hold. Scrap that.
Yeah, that was completely unexpected. We were focusing on Austrian athlete Berit Schweiger down on the right-hand side. We'd completely missed the double to the finish hold. That was really, really interesting, and I wonder if anyone else is going to read that. Completely skipped potentially the hardest move on the route.
So that move, if you were to do it as the route setters envisaged, they must be absolutely going crazy, the route setters now. That may never have occurred to them someone could go direct, but that move up to the blue hold, if you did it, if you like, the traditional way, I think easier for the small or easier for the tall?
Well, I think it's not necessarily about sort of higher or taller or shorter. It's your overall body length compared to the distance between the foothold and the handhold. If your body is completely straight in there, you're absolutely winning. If you're doubled over and your back is bent especially, that's when it really starts to hurt you. That's when you really start to use all sorts of different muscles and different techniques. But if you fit in there perfectly, you're off to a winner.
That was amazing from Sol Sa, I have to say. It didn't look especially difficult doing it that way. And will we see more and more climbers ignoring that penultimate hold? 4 seconds. You can hear the beeps ticking away. Chloe Collier of Belgium. Again, a previous finalist in an IFSC World Cup. Hachioji Kazo in 2016 in Japan. We now go to Hachioji when we visit Japan in 2016. It was Kazo, and Chloe Collier was in the final there. Had a couple of tough to take results this year, a couple of 7th places. And she find a final spot in the World Championships. Alex Puccio is now climbing on number 2. Petra Klingler and Fanny Gibert are climbing on number 3 and 4 respectively. Fanny there over to the left in the blue kit of Team France.
A number of athletes actually try that method initially. We saw it with Puccio just before, starting with the right foot furthest right on that women's number 1 starting volume, and then instantly recalculating, putting the right foot on the far left-hand side and stepping through with the left foot. Double foot move on the first hold.
Petra. I was about to say keep an eye on Petra Klingler. Sorry, Mike, great minds clearly think alike. Petra Klingler topped both of the first 2 boulders. She's now out onto number 3.
Really close from Chloe Collier there on women's number 1 as well. She's got the foot sequence down now. Almost stuck in one hand that time. DJ's keeping the tunes on the down low a little bit today. We're obviously waiting for the party to start a bit later on.
It's very mellow. Amazing how much it affects the mood in the arena, what the DJ plays. Fanny Gibert really needed a top on number 2. She didn't get anything out of number 3, not that anyone else has either, but it's left her in a very perilous position, Fanny Gibert. And even at this early stage, looking down the order, I suspect that even if she was to find a top on number 4, I don't think she'd have done enough to make it through to the final, especially when you look at the caliber of climbers still to come. I'm looking down my list. After Chloe Collier, it goes Margot Hayes, Katja Karic, Stasha Gale, Mihona Naka, Yanya Garmret, and Akio Noguchi. So Fanny Gibert living dangerously and perhaps paying the price for not getting it done on number 2, where 7 climbers have topped it, and only 5, including Fanny, have not managed to do it. So as it stands, a majority of climbers getting number 2 done.
It's going to be really interesting after Solsar's double to the finish hold on women's number 4, missing out the hard sort of double press move. It'll be really interesting to see if any of that information gets passed back to the athletes backstage, where we start seeing more and more athletes doing it like that. Will she be keeping it to herself? Or will she be letting some of her teammates know, or anybody else know, some of her friends?
Ooh, speculation. Speculation. So none of the climbers currently on this rotation, with 1 minute 35 left on the clock, have found a top. Fanny Gibert, that's progress on women's 4. But you can see there's no comfortable way of holding that big blue volume, but Fanny using that flexibility and mobility in her hips to just lever herself onto it. She's safely onto the zone.
Such a battle through that lower blue volume. What's she going to do then?
Yeah, will she go direct? I think she's eyeing up the hold on the right. Incredible finger strength and forearm strength to hang on there. Now needs to find a way to stabilize before she moves out to the left, and Fanny Gibert finds a top, so it's 2 tops, 2 zones for her.
That was a good fight from Fanny Gibert. Amazing shoulder flexibility as she fired up to the right hand. We'll see it in a second. She managed to completely gast on that top volume. Look at the rotation in the right shoulder. The body twists around to the right. Brilliant flexibility. Has a quick check on that screw on top, the one that's blocking the bolt hole. Nothing there, and jumps to the finish hold. Thought she might have come off there, but great contact strength to hold that final hold. Yeah, living dangerously, Fanny Gibert. I don't think that's enough for a place in the final. She's in 5th as it stands, but as I said, the caliber of climbers still to emerge on the stage, as well as the caliber of climbers who've already started but haven't finished their rotation. Fanny Gibert, I'm pretty sure, is going to miss out on a spot in the final. Puccio also struggling on women's number 2. Really not having a good time of it so far here, unfortunately for Pooch. Collier just nearly sticks the wobbly slab move. athletes currently standing on the mats. Austrians will be pretty pleased with that leaderboard at the moment.
Yeah, I think they'd be pretty happy just to wrap up the semi-final now, call it a day. Jessie Pilz currently leading the way with Berit Schweiger second. Johanna Faber and Katja Sauerwein, not their day, but still a World Championship semi-final. A pretty excellent result for both of them. And Johanna Faber, of course, really just starting out in her World Cup journey, her IFSC journey. Here's Hannah Slaney. This is on number 4.
Goes for the right heel hook rather than the left that we've seen for others. Does swap it around now, goes to the left. Looks like she's going to go up. Horrific sort of mantle on that volume. And not a very steep wall here, but a very big volume has made it a really tricky mantle move on the overhang there. Let's see how Hannah gets on with this top section. Can she push through this next right-hand volume? She doesn't.
Just to let you know how much is riding on that one, by the way, Mike. If Hannah Slaney can get a top on this boulder, that'll be 2 tops and 3 zones for her, and that would move her up into second place as it stood. I think she'd be behind Jessie Pilz just on number of attempts, but 2 tops and 3 zones I think would look a pretty handy score from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I think 3 tops is going to definitely hopefully get you into the finals here. 3 tops, not too many attempts.
Yeah, worth remembering, nobody yet has got 3 tops. If you were to get it, I think that would be enough to see you through.
Margot Hayes on the wall on the right-hand side. She nearly flashed that move actually out to the right-hand side on her very first attempt. Struggling again now though to get it right.
Vastly successful outdoor lead climber Margot Hayes, and here she is in the World Championship bouldering semi-final. All 4 climbers currently on the mats. Margot Hayes over on the right, then on number 2 we've got Evgenia Kasparkova just crept into the back of our shot. Berit Schweiger is on number 3 and Hannah Slaney is on number 4. Here's Margot lining up the jump again. We haven't seen much of Boulder 1 recently, and she does opt to go left hand directly to the zone, and it worked. Didn't look quite as comfortable as a lot of the climbers who've not used the zone. Yeah, but hey, if you end up in that position, matters not.
Yeah, did really well to kill the rotation there. Up into the top section of the slab here. Opting just to toe down on the left-hand side of that volume. See the right foot shaking a little bit. Can be disappointed with that. 2 minutes still to go. Another look at the jump using the zone hold. How hard she had to try there. Great slow-mo of the face.
It's Margot getting pretty close to a launch for that top hold. Hannah Slaney is over on number 4. She is in the provisional top 6, Hannah Slaney, but if she can't find a top, I'm pretty sure it won't be enough to keep her there. Schweiger, meanwhile, is on number 3. Still nobody made anything like a dent in number 3.
Solsar's the only climber we've seen get through these red volumes successfully, but nobody, like Charlie said, up to the zone on that one yet.
Chose to put her left foot right underneath her on that triangular hold. I wonder if there's a possibility there to swing it out to that very poor hold for the left, the blue one.
Hannah's looking pretty gassed, unfortunately. Under a minute still to go. She can't repeat her high point on women's number 4. As Over struggling on women's number 2 as well. Margot Hayes back up to her high point on the slab. This time gets the left heel hook underneath the zone hold. That's much better for controlling this position. Just needs to get that left foot now down to that very terrible screw on. Just level with her toes there. Goes quickly to that, unfortunately. That was the problem with the heel hook. It's nice to get it in, but it's really hard to release it without falling off.
Margot Hayes, I think correctly, doesn't feel that she's got enough time for another go. The problem with those moves up the slab is you just can't rush them. You've got to creep up, making sure everything's in balance. So although she had 25 seconds left on the clock, she had plenty of energy, I'm sure. Didn't really have time to execute those moves again. Chloe Collier now will attempt number 2. Alex Puccio has moved on to number 3. Petra Klingler's on number 4, and Katja Kadic begins her World Championship semi-final on number 1. Katja actually appeared to just be clarifying something with the judges down the front. There we see it, Johanna Faber and Katja Sauerwein both finished their rotations. That progress dial on the right-hand side of the score is what Boulder, the current climbers, have currently completed. So here goes Petra. She couldn't find anything on number 3. No shame in that. No one else has either. And a top here on number 4 would make her the first climber with 3 tops. Jessie Piltz is still leading the way in the standings right now with 2 tops and 3 zones.
That was nice from Petra through that section. She's got so much power. Power to spare. Talking of power, Puccio in the background there gets through this initial section but fell off going to the zone. So focus back on Petra. Mantling up into the zone hold. That's a successful method we've seen a number of times. Really just anything goes at this stage on this boulder, it seems.
So Petra's really got herself in position here. Will she go for the penultimate blue holder? Will she just do it a la Solsar, going direct up to the yellow? I think she's eyeing up the blue. She is, and like Fanny Gibert, somehow has enough power and flexibility in her shoulder to hold her there. Surely will bring it home from here, Petra. Heading out to the left, bobs both hands at the same time, lands it and becomes the first climber with 3 tops. Well, Mike, given how many problems number 3 is causing, you'd have thought Petra Klingler's just booked herself a place in the final.
Surely. It's going to have a little bit still to go yet, but she was really well-deserved top here. She's performed excellently all afternoon, and you can see, Charlie, just how much it means to her after being the world champion back in Paris 2016. Just to come out here and try and defend your title and have a really good semi-final round is brilliant.
Yeah,
she's emotion.
Yeah, she's had a series of injuries in the past few years, Petra, but something about the World Championships just seems to bring out the best in her, and she wants to retain that title. Competition's never really been fiercer. But are you going to bet her against her on this type of form? 3 tops for her.
It's a really interesting round of boulders. There's so many high-risk moves. You've got the jump, obviously, on the slab on number 1. Second move up to the zone on number 2. Number 3 is just brutally hard with lots of timing moves. And number 4 has got that sort of double jump to finish. There's so many interesting timing elements to this set of boulders. It creates a lot of opportunities to fall off what we call a really high-risk set of boulders.
Alex Puccio, by the way, just got a really good hand on the zone. Didn't control it. She won't be awarded it, but she is making progress on number 3.
Katja's just figured out the foot swap. Look how grim that is. Slightly taller climber struggling to just sort of stand up into that next undercut volume.
Alex Puccio's just latched the zone. She's the first climber to get anything at all out of number 3.
But did she control it?
Yeah, well, that's the question. I mean, we were watching Katja, and she just happened to catch my eye, the movement of Alex Puccio going up to the zone. I have to say, in real time, only just catching the end of it, looked to me like she controlled the zone, but I think it'll be a pretty tight decision for the judges to make. And she has been awarded it, Alex. She was given the zone. So she's the first climber to get anything out of number 3. She got the zone on number 1 on her 12th attempt.
How much power through the shoulders here for Alex Puccio. Misses her party piece this side of boulder. That's nice.
She's definitely controlled the zone this time. Needs to get the feet on though.
Oh, tried so hard to get the right foot up there. Puccio's pushing towards the top here. It's his potential first top on women's number 2. Couple moves still to go. Women's number 3, excuse me. Puccio's giving it absolutely everything. She's really putting her body on the line out there today.
Oh, that's so disappointing for Alex. Been ill since the qualifiers. I don't think she felt 100% in the qualifiers. That was when she got the zone.
Desperate shoulder move out, and it's not over this boulder. It's a huge move up, off the zone up to the big Taiji volume, bit further up, and a big leg kick out to the right before heading to the finish hold. So it's definitely not over that boulder. Top on that will put you in a really, really good spot.
So We've actually, we're on to our 4th to last climber. Semi-final has exploded into life and is disappearing before our eyes. Stasha Gale, latest climber to get her World Championship bid underway. Mio Nanaka, Yanya Gambret and Akio Noguchi, the 3 climbers still to go. The 3 of them absolutely dominated the last World Cup in Munich, with Yanya leading the way. But it's Stasha now looking to book a place in the final. Her semi-final begins.
Stasha's got a slightly different foot sequence there, actually. She's going off of the right foot, especially in doing a little skip before jumping again with the right foot. See if she sticks to the same method as Margot and nearly catches the jump on women's number 2. So have a quick look at Stasha's foot sequence on women's number 1, see if she uses the same method.
So Margot Hayes, Evgenia Kazbekova and Berit Schweiger currently on the mats. Berit sitting in 3rd place as it stands. She'll join Petra in the 3 Tops club if she can find a way on number 4. Evgenia Kazbekova now on the brutal number 3.
Stasha does stick the jump across. I'm sure we get to see that again. Here she is, live now. Howard going through the right heel, keeping the right heels down for maximum contact through the toes. Asks for the brush, she knows she can do it. Asks him for the brush to get a move on as well as Margot Hayes pushing to the top on women's number 2.
Top for Margot, number 2. Two minutes 50 left on the rotation. This was how she did the lower section. This is a replay of Margot.
Full body swing out to the left. Didn't initially land the left foot. She did well to hold that. I think what's really interesting about that move up to the zone hold is traditionally that would be a one-handed hold, but the route setters have mostly set it as a double-handed jump to effectively a one-handed hold, and that's caused someone like Fanny Gibert earlier. She was just jumping to it with the one hand, but that move would traditionally dictate to you. It actually seems to be a slightly awkward double catch. Sometimes you've got to read the move rather than read the hold.
Berit really struggling with that big slap up to the big blue volume. She hasn't had a zone yet, let alone a top on this number 4, Berit. Could do with finding it. She's in 3rd place right now. But the cavalry are coming. And I think 3 tops would feel a lot more secure for Berit than the current 2 that she has. Stasha needs to find something here. 145.
Yeah. Stasha's just got to keep it together here. She's definitely good enough to get a top here. Made that jump and then came off the jump a couple of times, but she's really got to just focus on this top section now. Really smoothly up this initial section. It's really interesting. A lot of climbers hit that left hand, the right hand pings off that hold and they just re-stabilise. This is it now for Stasha. Oh, easily done in the end. Yeah, she's just saying, oh, what was it all about? Because in the end, it was an absolute piece of cake on that top move. There was a nervous minute or 2 there for Stasha, and in the end, gets it done, and I think that will sort the head game out a little bit for her. Looking for the sort of stacked crimp on the right-hand side. She was nervous initially going through that move, and I think as she started moving towards it, she knew she was going to catch that finish hold with no issues. Rotation, the local crowd really getting behind the Austrian athletes, as you would expect, enjoying their afternoon's entertainment.
So Berit, I think, is going to be pretty touch and go. I wouldn't have thought that 2 tops and 2 zones is going to be enough for Berit. Really could have done with just getting something out of that 4th boulder. As you can see, she's in 3rd place as it stands, but looking pretty perilous, it must be said. Petra Klinger with 3 tops and 3 zones, I think will have done enough. Alex Puccio, sadly, is going to miss out. She's currently attempting number 4. And here's Miho Nanaka. Won the overall title in the bouldering this year.
Miho with that shoulder injury, you can see heavy taping on the right hand shoulder there. Hopefully that's not affected her fitness too much. Absolutely tragic to get an injury during the competition. Happens to the best of them though, unfortunately.
It's something special to win the World Cup overall title or the World Championship. I wonder if Miho has allowed herself to think about the possibility of winning them both within a month of each other.
Puccio starts the fight on women's number 4. I think that's pretty much the best description of that boulder. As soon as you put on it, so just a battle royale to the top. Too much finesse required.
Catch it, always looks like she's having fun on the wall. Her compatriot Janja Garnbrett will be the next climber let loose onto number 1. Miho Nanaka's thinking about pulling on for another go on number 1. Interestingly enough, Miho seems to be a lot more conservative with the number of attempts she's using. A lot of the climbers we've seen have just been going and going and going. Miho really stopping and considering after each attempt. Here's Chloe Collier, the latest to have a bash at number 3. Alex Puccio not making much progress on number 4. She's not been feeling well at all this week, and I have to say it's showing she just doesn't quite look herself. Last thing you want when you've flown across the Atlantic to compete in the World Championships.
Miho currently not finding the underside of that volume at all. You wonder if there's a bit of nerves here from her. I thought that'd be too much of a psychological issue. We were so experienced, doing so well this season, but not going to the underside of that volume at all at the moment. Running out of time here a little bit for her as well. 2 minutes still to go.
Yeah, we've had 7 IFSC Boulder World Cups this season. Miho won the first and then was second in the remaining 6. So a worst finish of second in 7 Boulder World Cups for Miho.
She doesn't do number 1 though. She's really going to have to pull something special out of the bag with boulders 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah.
As it stands at the moment, it's just getting quite tense here.
Yeah, although interestingly, it's felt like that boulder's seen a few tops. It's still actually only 5 tops that that boulder's seen, and Miho's the 18th climber to attempt it. So I agree that she'd have to pull something special out of the bag, but the round isn't necessarily over for her if she couldn't do it. She'd almost certainly have to find something on number 3, though, which could prove very tricky. Here goes Katja. That span was slightly easier for her, being a bit taller. Now got this big compression move. Chooses to get the right foot up first. And the stretching and yoga sessions pay off for Katja because it got her in a really nice position to go for the top.
Yeah, that's really impressive. The hand-to-foot match on the zone hold. We've seen a couple of athletes try that, but she did it successfully. Like you said, Charlie, huge amounts of flexibility. Let's have another look. Just a double catch out to the left. Awkward sort of hand position on the right hand, catching it with 2 fingers, and then sort of piano matches across. As pretty much everybody checks the right-hand side of that volume, fires up with the left, and check this next move out when she does the hand-to-foot match, flips the right hand underneath the volume to make space for the foot. Clever climbing.
And that was both hands landing on the top. Always popular with the crowd. Katja climbs with a smile on her face, makes it very clear that she's enjoying herself, but she's a competitor too. And there is a fierce determination that burns beneath that happy exterior. 10 seconds left, and Miho is not going to find the top on number 1. She's found the zone. There's no way she'll be able to top it from here. You can see her rushing up. I thought I might have to eat my words with 4 seconds to go. That would have been incredible. But as it is, she can't find the top. So Miho, after one of the most consistent seasons in IFSC history from any athlete, needs to pull something out the bag from here on out. That zone might come in very handy.
Yeah, we'll see as she goes through the next 3 boulders, but you do wonder if that injury is starting to play on her mind. How bad is it? Only she really knows, and the coach.
Also carrying a minor injury that she picked up on the last boulder in Munich in the World Cup. She utterly dominated is Janja Garnbret, second place in the lead climbing last weekend. No problem with the jump.
I said it earlier, I'd be impressed if anybody flashes women's #1, and of course, Janja comes out and just floats across it. Can she get cleanly through this top section? Off for the hill. We saw this earlier. It's good to get through this next move. It's really hard to kill the momentum if she just got to drop that left heel out onto the foothold. Sort of get a bit pinned in this position. Looks like she's trying to figure out a method of releasing that left heel. As it stands, she can't. She's just eyeing up the jump to the finish hold. Really nice cross palm with the right hand. Brilliant calculations from Janja Garnbret. Pretty sure that was a flash, and the thinking that was going through her head on that top move was really, really impressive.
Well, Mike, we said earlier on, would be impressive if anyone could flash this move.
And she had to figure out a way of releasing that left heel without spinning off, and she did it by letting go of the right hand and cross-palming on that big blue volume. That was really, really cool.
Stasha Gale has just found the top on #2. She's having a really good semi-final so far. Got the first boulder done, 6th attempt. She got the second boulder done on her second go.
Looked so strong on that move. This is the replay of her. Hit that zone hold with just the one hand and looked really comfortable with it as well. Right foot didn't even release off that lower red hold. Hand to foot match as well without flipping underneath. Stasha Gale, like you said, Charlie, looking in fine form.
Tiny bit of skin visible underneath all the tape. Can't be troubling her too much. Superb performance from Stasha Gale. I have to say that this 5-minute rotation so far has all been about Janja Garnbret. She was only a participant for the first 50 seconds of the 5-minute rotation. Flash boulder 1.
I think with Janja settling for silver medal in the lead, I think she's out for blood in this bouldering.
Yeah, she's been quite open about the fact that she's been training very hard for the bouldering. It's been a big focus for her. Stasha now backstage next to Katja. Very rare we get to see behind the wall live during the competition.
Really just trying to dial it back when she sits in that stage. You can see Stasha, just as she was playing with her music system there, just shaking. So much power going through the system. She's got to really just put on that song that works for you and just dial it back.
Yeah, but after boulder 2, actually after boulder 1, you can really let the adrenaline start pumping, because all 3 of the remaining boulders just require full gas, as they say in this part of the world. You can get as pumped up as you want. You really need to give them a lot of beans. You can see Evgenia Kazbekova, the latest to try that move up to the big blue hold. Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here, live with you from the Olympia World in Innsbruck. Welcome. Women's bouldering semi-final. Hashtag IFSCWCH on Twitter should you wish to get in touch. 20 women taking part. And we want 6 for the final. Evgenia Kazbekova, the 13th climber on #4. So when she finishes her rotation, we're really getting to the stage where we can start confirming finalists. Only Chloe Collier to go, and then we will have our first confirmed finalist.
Alex Puccio, currently the only athlete to get anywhere really on women's #3. Saw Sol Saar give it a pretty good attempt earlier. Definitely Puccio's giving it the maximum at the moment. Just a false start there from Margot. Judge on their toes.
And Margot deciding to call it a day. 1 top 2 zones for her from the first 3 boulders. If you can find a top on #4, it may be enough. I was about to say the route setters might feel is slightly overcooked #3, but we've made the mistake of saying things like that before, and then Miho, Akio, Yanya, Stasha, Katja are let loose on it, and suddenly we're eating our words. Katja is now on to number 3. Chloe Collier's climbing number 4. Miho's on number 2. And Akio Noguchi begins her campaign on number 1.
Like you said, really, Charlie, someone like Yanya, she absolutely tore the qualification boulders to pieces where others barely left the floor. So much talent out there at the moment. Miho sticks the first move on women's 2, just as Akio to her right just has a little look. That's much better from Miho. Easily through women's number 2 at the moment. Sticks it one-handed, up to the zone. Seeing this method go down a number of times now. These top athletes really cruising women's number 2.
So top for Miho, 4 minutes left on the clock, earns herself a bit of extra rest. I do wonder if that failure on number 1 is going to come back to haunt her. I think she's going to likely need at least, well, she'll need at least a zone on number 3, I'd imagine. If she could find a top, it might make amends for the failure on number 1, but it could prove costly. Remember, the climbers have to match that top hold. Match for long there, Miho, living slightly dangerously. Judges have awarded her the top, and rightly so. There's no doubt she was controlling it. But another example, we do see quite regularly climbers not being quite as sure as they could with tops.
The legend that is Akio Noguchi then having a little bit of issues with his first jump.
Picked up the bronze medal in the last 2 World Championships. Akio Noguchi. 2014 and then 2016, last time out in Paris. 4-time overall World Cup winner, but never won a World Championship.
Oh, that was nice. Took a couple of sort of grabs at the bottom of that volume and stuck it eventually and rotated round to the zone hole. You would have thought this top section for Akio shouldn't be too many problems. So good at the technical slabs. How bad that right hand hold is again, and as I say that, she does just wobble off. Plenty of time for Akio though. Just got to recompose. It's a close-up of that right hand top screw on. I really want to see that on any boulder problem, to be honest, even as a foothold.
We were talking earlier in the week over an excellent Austrian Weizbier, myself and a couple of mates. Best climbers never to win a World Championship. Akio Noguchi was the conclusion. Can 2018 be her year? She actually picked up a silver medal in 2007, 11 years ago, still at it. Her longevity, Akio Noguchi, is absolutely staggering. The woman who beat her that day, Anna Sturr, picking up the first of 2 World Championships, is 5 meters over to our right, commentating for Austrian TV. Akio Noguchi's still down there on the mats, he's still at it at the highest level.
Yeah, still coming out in the top qualifying spot. Though Collier is into a bit of a tangle here at the moment. Really frustrating round for her. Akio, just over a minute left. It's a little bit of work to do here. Does stick the jump this time. It's one of those moves, once you can do it, you can do it. You can do it pretty much on demand. Takes a bit of time to get there though.
Seen 6 tops this boulder. Akio looking to become the 7th.
She's currently struggling to kind of kill the movement up there a little bit. Not getting much out that right hand.
She's always an interesting climber to watch, Akio, because she seems to figure boulder problems out minute by minute. You can kind of see the cogs turning with Akio as she susses out the movements a bit better, but it's taking a bit longer than she would have liked on women's 1. And with 30 seconds to go and the delicate slow moves up above, I think she needs to get a move on, and I think this could be her last attempt for Akio. 20 seconds to go. Miho Nanaka couldn't find a way to do it. Can Akio Noguchi? This is Chloe Collier. Battle on number 4.
Akio does fall off as we concentrate on Chloe Collier, really interesting battle for her, going feet first. Not going to be enough time. And really interesting, Charlie, we've got 2 Japanese climbers, 2 of the potential favourites for this entire championships, not doing boulder number 1. It's going to get really interesting now as we go through to the end of this women's semi-final.
Yeah, I think based on their performance in the most recent World Cup in Munich, and also form and their pedigree over the past few seasons, most people would have had Yanya Garnbrett, Miho Nanaka and Akio Noguchi absolutely nailed on for 3 of the spots in the final. But Miho and Akio now playing catch-up. They couldn't get number 1 done. Yanya Garnbrett, no such worries for her, flash number 1. And she's just come out for her attempt on number 2. She's currently on her first attempt. Stasha Geo is on number 3, which is as yet untopped. Margot Hayes is on number 4. There we can see it. And Yanya, could she make it 2 flashes on the first 2 boulders in Munich in the last World Cup of the season? She flashed all 4 boulders in the final. Can't wait to see her on number 3.
Another massive rotation for Yanya Garnbrett. There's actually a hashtag trending Yanya style, and that was one of Yanya's style moves there as well. As she hit it, huge rotation of the body to maintain her position on the wall. She's just making calculations here a little bit. Looks like she wanted to use the right hand side, but it's going to doubles well. Huge flag up on the right hand side with the left leg. Nice done. Misses the sign crucially, I think. Yanya Garnbrett finds another top with ease. How many times have we said that this year?
Let's have another look at the attempt. Stasha, by the way, and Margot still on the mats. No success for them as yet on number 3 and 4. This was Yanya.
You might not be able to see it from this side. The right leg rotated all the way around on the opposite side of her body, just so she could hold that position. The way that she just lets the body rotate, incredible. It's quite a unique style, and one that other climbers are really starting to adopt now. Hashtag Yanya style. Let's have another look to the top. Easily through this top section really for these climbers. Yanya's currently getting it done here. Margot opting to go feet first. We just saw that from Chloe Collier. It's a real battle royale here on women's number 4. It does actually seem to work to get the hands up there. It takes a lot out of you. Interestingly, it does work though. Margot Hayes getting it done. Opts to the right heel. I've seen the left heel as the most successful option so far on this boulder number 4.
And Margot's got the underside of that zone. You need to get it really with the left hand so that you can pull away from it.
She's been every which way on this volume so far. Now seems to be in a better position, but looks like she's trying to go outright at the moment. Double heels are back on, showing her route climbing fitness here, Margot. Stasha's still on the mats as well on women's number 3. I think Margot could hang there all day, really. Still going through all the different methods. Should try this time. Does try and go up and to the right hand side this time by the looks of it. Interestingly ends up going to the blocker on that right hand volume. This is going to be interesting. Not seen anybody over there so far. 1 minute still to go. Where's she going to head from here? Actually could work. Got a flip, gets it done, Margot Hayes. One way or another, this boulder is really, really interesting here. So many different methods.
Margot Hayes lining it up, trying to be the 5th person to top boulder number 4. Will she go directly to the yellow as Sol Sa did?
She's been on this boulder for eternity, it seems. Pretty much her entire time is fighting all the way through this boulder. Got to commit to the low percentage moves now, though. Does commit, falls off, unfortunately.
That's going to be that for Margot Hayes. 9th place for her as it stands. Not going to claim a place in the final. Stasha Geo, nothing for her on number 3. Wants to get straight back behind the wall as quick as possible.
3 still untopped.
Miho Nanaka, by the way, yeah, top number 2. So, beginning to shift up the order, Miho. As we see, Petra Klingler there. She's going to be into the final. No worries for her. Miho Nanaka actually is a bit higher up than that. That top on number 2 just not showing up for her just yet. We've got her as 8th on our scores here in the commentary box. So now Katja Karic, Miho Nanaka and Akio Noguchi on the wall.
Akio, after failing on women's number 1, starts on number 2. Attempts at this stage could become crucial.
Katja's just had a stab at number 4, but nothing yet. Now then, Miho, you would imagine almost certainly needs to get something out of this number 3, a zone. If she could find a zone on number 3, top on number 4, she might well get herself out of the small hole she dug by not getting number 1 done. But as yet, she's not got anything. Akio Noguchi's got the zone on number 2. And there's, you would imagine, going to bring it home from there. Yes, she will. Top for Akio.
Just as we watch the top of there, Miho still kind of standing on the mat. She did have a good attempt at getting her foot up. Top section really kind of cruised later on in the competition. Nice Boulder women's number 2. Good boulders all round, in fact.
Yeah, Miho down on the mats again on number 3. The fact she's struggling with it so much would suggest maybe this is the only boulder that the rooters haven't quite got the level right on. You called it on the mats that this looks like the hardest one. It's most certainly proved to be that.
Well, I think at this stage in the competition, the semi-final is always the hardest round. They've got to put one boulder in there that really kind of finds the best from the best.
Just to let you know how we're doing on scores, Fanny Gibert is not going to convert fantastic 2018 into a place in the final. She's currently sitting in 7th place. Hannah Slaney, the recently crowned youth world champion in bouldering, is going to miss out. Alana Yip misses out. Evgenia Kazbekova, Alex Puccio, Chloe Collier, Katja Zalvine. It's been a brutal round.
This is good from Miho now. She's got through that initial section. Got to make the pounce out to the zone now. Oh, just comes up short on it. Hard fall. You can see her just rotating the right arm there, excuse me. Doesn't look 100% happy with that shoulder, it has to be said. Wearing number 1 on her back, but is it going to be enough today for Miho? She's really struggling here.
And also, just something to flag up on Miho, Mike. Her top, according to our scores, on number 2 has disappeared. Now, I said at the time she didn't match the top hold for long. Am I putting 2 together and making 5? Is it just a technical problem that happens to be a coincidence with the boulder where she didn't really match for very long at the top? Or is there more to it? We'll keep an eye on that one. Right now, we've got Miho Nanaka in 20th place with 1 zone and no tops.
If that's the case, she might as well just walk off the stage now, because there's no chance she's going to get through to the finals. She's only going to do herself more damage. Really interesting to find out a bit more about that. Didn't seem to be anything super obvious at the time.
It's been reinstated. Her top on number 2, Miho Nanaka. So as I say, I think it was a coincidence.
Might have just better pick it up there on the microphone. Just slap of the volume on women's number 4.
And Miho is heading in.
Head down, scuffing the floor with her feet.
Well, she can still make it into the final, Miho Nanaka. All is not lost. She'll definitely need a top. And she could do with getting it done with a minimal of fuss. Miho Nanaka, not too many attempts. Yeah, you can see her there down in 10th. So her top has disappeared, I'm assuming, for just technical reasons. It's now back.
It's 2 tops currently that still gets you into the finals.
Yeah, 2 tops will get you in, actually, regardless of zones. 2 tops, 3 zones, enough to put you in second right now, Jessie Peltz. Now, Janja Garnbret flashed both of the first 2 boulders. Here she comes on number 3. And you know a boulder's hard when Janja can't do it first time.
Just opted for the double catch there by dropping the right hand down past that starting hold. We've seen other climbers successfully control the left hand first, then bring that up as a toe hook rather than a catch. Does she look like she's eyeing up the same method once again? I wonder if she's going to have a recalculation here. She's just taking a moment, hands on hips, to look back.
Katja Kadicek and Patrick didn't get anything on number 4. She's going to miss out on a place in the finals. Stasha now is currently 5th with 2 tops and 2 zones. You would imagine a zone here would be enough for Stasha to see her through. Top would absolutely, certainly get her through.
Janja does use a different method that time, straight up with the left hand, but does try and flip back down to that right hand hold. Literally a red herring down there on the right for the hands. It's designed purely as a foothold, even though it's got a lot of chalk on it. Through the round chalk's built up on it. It's confusing for the climbers. Real puzzle number 3. No tops, like we said. Puccio definitely looked the best on that boulder. Here goes Stasha up towards the zone though. Opposite the right hand method to start, but it's thinking hard here. So Margot Hayes going all the way up to that blue triangle out on the right hand side, the blocker on that volume. There she secures the zone, and whether should be given that, not 100% sure just yet. If that's control or not. And falls off.
Yeah, let's wait to see if she's awarded that. She has been given that zone, Stasha. That moves her up into 3rd place.
This time Janja goes up, does opt to go back down with the right hand. That was a great catch with the right. She looks like she's opting to go again and looking a bit confused here on this boulder, Janja. Smiles all around, just sort of hands on hips. Not quite sure what to make of women's number 3. Nice if you can get yourself one of those, a little battery-powered fan. Nothing in the rule book says you can't bring one of those out. Bigger the better in my books.
Yeah, about 1 metre high and right off to the side of the wall would be ideal if you could be bothered humping it out. Just so you know, Stasha's moved up into 3rd place, so she is actually into the final. Obviously, she won't be aware of that unless she happened to step right back to the edge of the mats, look up at the big screen and do a load of maths, and I think she's got more pressing things on her mind. But she's into 3rd place. She's the 4th to last climber to finish, so even if all the remaining 3 climbers overtook her in the ranking, she'd still be in the top 6. So Stasha through to the final.
Janja looking better this time, goes for the right toe hook straight away. This is the perfect method that we've seen and comes up short on the shoulders. Janja with 1 minute 20 left. I think she might have time to get this done. Interestingly, Charlie was saying that Stasha needs to have a look at the big screen. I think she might have just taken a couple of steps back and had a good look. Sort of a rude smile came across her face. I think she knows she's done enough, but she'll try and get it done anyway. Pink Panther, interesting choice of tunes.
Always said Stasha Keogh would not make a great poker player. You're always pretty sure what she's thinking. No concealing the emotions. You could see her talking to herself there, just getting a bit frustrated with herself. And if she has taken a look at the big screen, she might be well advised not to try quite as hard as she was on that attempt, grimacing with the effort. And these moves are so physical, and she's going to be climbing in the final at 7 p.m. tonight. So if she does know, might be well advised not to risk any injury.
This Margot Hayes method then that seems to be working for her at the moment. Almost a finger lock between the volume and the blocker hold that she's currently resting on. So many methods on this boulder we've seen. Let's see what she makes of the top section though. This will be her final attempt. She's only got 10 seconds left as well. She does need to get a bit of a move on. Oh, just goes for the pinch.
Yeah, close but no cigar for Stasha. If she didn't earlier, she should have a quick look at the big screen. Actually, I'm just watching her. She's just walking off the stage. I think you were right, Mike. I think she did have a look at the screen because she didn't bother to check it as she left. She's in 3rd place, and she's going to make the final. Janja Garnbret didn't get anything on number 3, so Akio Noguchi, the last climber to attempt it. That one, even if Akio gets it, I think you'd have to say that's the only one where they've just got the difficulty level slightly wrong, but a good spread of tops elsewhere. Petra Klingler safely through, so is Jessie Pilz. Jessie Pilz has given herself the opportunity to do the double of Boulder and lead, never been done by a woman before. Adam Ondra did it over on the men's side.
Kia's got it to do here as well, currently way down in the order.
And Miho Nanaka needs a top here. If she can't find a top, she's not going to make it into the top 6. Fanny Gibert's got 2 tops and just missing out on the top 6. So the round proving even harder than we thought. We thought 3 tops would guarantee you a place in the finals. Better than that, right now, 3 tops is guaranteeing you top ranking from the semi-finals. Petra Klingler, the only climber with 3 tops as it stands.
Interestingly, the round, in terms of results, seems to have got a bit harder as it's gone on. It's got a bit hotter in here, potentially. It's quite a hot arena. Conditions have deteriorated slightly on the holds. Not necessarily the case for every athlete. I mean, it is pretty much a consistent challenge out there, as best as it can be. But Team Japan having a little bit of a meltdown here.
They need to find some of the composure for which they're famous. Akio Noguchi and Miho Nanaka did themselves no favors by not finding the method on number 1. Actually only saw 5 tops, number 1. Excuse me, 6 tops. Felt like it was getting topped a lot, number 1, but yeah, just the 6 tops. But Miho and Akio not amongst the climbers who did it.
Akio has got the first move in the bag though, just struggling with the feet there. You can see the chalk build up on that volume. It's just such a desperate hold. A lot of people at home would have climbed on that volume. They know what it feels like. Put it on this angle, take the feet away, and you get an idea of what Akio Noguchi's up to at the moment.
Yeah, it feels pretty hopeless on a vertical wall. It's 20 degrees overhanging up there. Here's Miho pulling back on. Has to find a top. It would be the biggest surprise for sure of this semi-final so far if she wasn't to take a place in the final. Looking down the list, the biggest surprise of the people that have already finished their rotation, you'd say would likely be Fanny Gibert or Katja Kadic, who have missed out, but Miho Nanaka, Akio Noguchi, you would have thought would be absolutely dialed down to take a place in the final.
Akio just struggling here, as we've seen pretty much with all of the athletes, all 20 apart from Puccio and Solsar, really, on women's number 3, just trying to find the right method. Miho Nanaka just doesn't seem to be at the races today.
So 2 tops and 3 zones will actually get you into the final. I've just been studying the results a little more closely. So Miho and Akio. Akio doesn't actually need anything in inverted commas on number 3 if she can top number 4. Miho didn't get anything on number 3, but can still make it to the final if she tops number 4. She wants the crowd behind her. Got 55 seconds left to salvage a semi-final, which went off the rails earlier on. Can she get it back? The support of the crowd seems to be doing its job now. Miho Nanaka. Is she going to salvage victory from the jaws of defeat? She needs a top here, and she's got one. Miho Nanaka will have put her fans, her coaches, and her teammates through the ringer watching her. She just about salvaged it. 20 seconds left.
What a moment. You said Miho Nanaka doesn't really seem to be at the races today. She asked for the crowd to get behind her. The atmosphere sort of been coming and going a little bit today. It had died a little bit. She got them going, and it seems to have just fired her up and got her up that boulder. And what a great moment in the semi-final. Fired Sol Saar's method to the finish hold. Didn't even bother with that top blue hold. 100% commitment. That would have been her final attempt. For Miho, it was all or nothing on this move, and a really, really risky method by jumping to the finish hold. Got it done. Hopefully we'll be seeing Miho in the finals. Final climber out, Janja Garnbret has started on women's number 4. This is her first attempt, straight through this bottom section with no issues. Just a Kia Noguchi to come, excuse me, after this on women's number 4. Janja.
Yeah, she's thinking about launching from there. We've just we've seen it top that way a couple of times. Now we see it top the third time that way, excuse me. Janja Garnbret. What can you say? What can you say?
Really interesting, that women's number 4. I'm sure the route setters would have looked at that as a method. They, you know, these guys are some of the best in the industry. You see Janja just eyed it up straight away. She knew where she was heading. I think it's one of those moves. It is possible, obviously, both ways. I think the jump is equally as risky as going up with up to the blue hold.
It was interesting, Mike. I was chatting to one of the team coaches here at the IFSC, and we were talking about Janja, and I said, she's the best climber you've ever seen? He went, oh yeah. And I said, men or women? He said, oh yeah, but by miles. She's the best climber I've ever seen. It didn't go her way in the lead, but in the bouldering in Munich, she was absolutely unstoppable. I mean, we talk about her, Miho and Akio dominating the competition. Really, Janja dominated the competition, and they were on her coattails, but she looks immense here in Innsbruck. Yeah, I think very fired up after what happened in the lead as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she didn't fall off in the lead. Something to be said about that as well. But she had so much power through that bottom section and brilliant movement in the top section.
So there you can see it. The top 5, Janja Garnbret, Petra Klingler, Jessie Pultz, Stasha Gale, Miho Nanaka, guaranteed their place in the final. Berit Schweiger watching on nervously as Akio Noguchi comes out. What a heavyweight final that is. Interestingly enough, we haven't really got any bolters there. Anyone that's kind of come from nowhere might have been surprised to make it to the semi and then found their way into the final. That is a heavyweight final already.
Yeah, currently with 2 Austrians into the final and potential for Akio to knock out Berit Schweiger. It's going to be interesting to see what the crowd's response here is going to be when the final climber, Akio, comes out in 2 minutes' time. No climbers on the mats at the moment after Janja's impressively fast top of women's number 4. And just have a little look back at some of the action throughout the round so far.
Yeah, 1 minute 50 left on the rotation. Of course, the reason Akio Noguchi can't come back out is that she gets her statutory 5-minute rest between boulders. So the fact that Janja Garnbret only used up about 45 seconds of her time doesn't affect when Akio Noguchi comes out. So she'll be out in 1 minute 30 now. This was Tatiana Chemelin-Kiener earlier on. Manon Ely of France. But yeah, Janja Garnbret is currently leading the way. She topped 3 boulders, flashed them all, couldn't get number 3 done. That was the one that the route setters will look back on and regret. Just slightly overcooked. We only got the 1 zone from that.
I think at the same time they'll use that as a good indicator for the finals boulders. You know, after this round they'll go straight to work and put those finals back up and have a little kind of reassess of the level. Set those lots of, when they set them, to be honest, quite a few days ago in the week at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it is such a fine line though, because Janja flashed 3 of the boulders and there's one that she couldn't do at all. It's not actually that useful a feedback as a route setter. I mean, there's not much between the boulders in terms of difficulty. Yeah, number 3 was much harder, but when 3 of them get flashed and 1 of them can't be done, it's very, very tricky. But if you think in terms of the route setters and how they've done their job, put on a good show, tick. selected 6 climbers for the final, tick. So good job from them. As I say, number 3 really the only stain on their copybook.
Yeah, I think with route setting, there's always the basically impossible balance between creating a show and getting the result. If you want to get both perfectly, that happens occasionally, and you have to have a huge slice of luck for that to work. It's always really, really fine. You've got to put something in there that's going to give you an idea of what's going to work for later on, which necessarily comes secondary, or depending on how the route setters are feeling, priority to the show.
So 4 minutes 40 already. Akio Noguchi, you can see over 60 times on an IFSC podium for her. She's not going to be rushed one little bit, and takes the first 30 seconds of her time without leaving the floor. Now the maths for Akio, fortunately for Mike and myself, hardly maths PhDs over here, is very simple. If she tops, she's into the final, and if she doesn't, she isn't.
Easily through that first section for Akio. Looking really powerful at the moment. Does it off the right hill. Huge amounts of flexibility for Akio. An absolute par for her so far. What method's it going to be? She's a taller climber. Looks like she's calculating between the two at the moment. Got to figure out what the best method is. Looks like she's going to go to the blue volume. Does, and just falls off. Just had a little bit of bend through the spine as she went up to that blue hole. We talked about it a little bit. I think if you're a taller climber, this top move is going to be quite hard to get the perfect body position. Sort of stemming yourself between the foothold and the top volume, bracing yourself up there. Wonder if she'll have a rethink and try the method that we've seen, the double to the top hold. Yeah,
well, I asked you that question earlier on, Mike. I must have had my crystal ball out subconsciously, but about taller and smaller climbers, and Sol Sa, much shorter climber, absolutely fired for the top hold. Akio finding it much tougher being that bit taller. She's got 3 minutes 15 on the clock. A legend of the sport, one of the best climbers never to win a world championship. If Akio Noguchi can find a top here, she is safely through to the final. If she cannot top the boulder, her world championship will end here. Now she's got the right hand up.
Yeah, drop knee method here for Akio. Makes it work. Now she's just got to get to the finish hold. Surely no issues for Akio Noguchi, and gets it done. Surely it was never in doubt. Akio Noguchi, one of the greatest female climbers of all time, will be in the World Championship final once again.
They say form is temporary, class is permanent. Miho Nanaka and now Akio Noguchi have just proved that saying to be true. They didn't make it easy.
That was really interesting. She had basically no rest between those two attempts and went for the really deep drop knee off the blocker hold on the right-hand side to make that move work. So much force going through the foot. You can see the leg shaking, the knee quivering, and then just stood up into it. High-risk method there for Akio. And in the end, we were saying that Team Japan's having a bit of a meltdown, but in the end, they get it done. Surely it was never in doubt, really.
You say that, I think. About 10 minutes ago, we had Miho Nanaka not making much progress on number 4, Akio not making much progress on number 3. I have to say at that stage, I didn't fancy either of their chances, but they proved me wrong. That's why they're great climbers, though. They don't just have a good day here and there. When it really matters, they find a way over and over again. You have to wonder psychologically how it will affect them. Will they go into the final with a slightly different attitude, feel a bit less pressure because they feel lucky to be there? Or will they be slightly beating themselves up a bit and thinking, I hope I don't have another disaster like I did on number 1 in the semi-final? We shall see. I am racking my brains for the last time we had a boulder final as strong as this. Janja Garnbret, say no more. Petra Klingler, the reigning world champion. Akio Noguchi, 4-time overall Boulder World Cup winner. Jessie Pilt, recently crowned lead world champion. Stasha Geho, immensely strong Serbian, due that one big result. And Miho Nanaka, the recently crowned Boulder overall World Cup champion. I don't remember as strong a lineup for a Boulder final than that. You are not going to want to miss it. It's going to be at 7 p.m. just under 4 hours away. Alana Yip, Katja Kadic, Alex Puccio, Chloe Collier, Katja Sauerwein, Hannah Slaney, all names we might have expected to be slightly higher up the order. But Mike, Wonderful semi-final, and amazing through all the trials and tribulations and ups and downs, and you get that 6 at the end. They always seem to find a way.
Yeah, they always do. They put on a great show. That's why the best. It's going to be a massive clash of the Titans tonight.
Certainly is. Join us then, myself, Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley, 7 p.m. for the final. We'll see you then.